Being a sportsman is about a walk in the woods. Time spent together in camp. Tradition. And enjoying the serenity of nature. We're back again with High Point Adventures, and we're headed to northwest Wisconsin with our guide Randy from Clam Lake Guide and Taxidermy to hunt some Northwoods black bear. Last year there was no shortage of action on the baits. We were covered in bears all afternoon, and we ended up punching one tag for a very deserving veteran. Really excited for this year's camp. It was a unique camp, lots of storylines and lots of stories yet to be told. So let's meet the veterans in attendance.
My name is Raymond H. Mackey, Jr., Sergeant Major retired. I live in Jacksonville, North Carolina. I was injured in Helmand Province, Afghanistan, December 23rd, 2009.
I'm Casey Callahan. I'm from Cincinnati. I joined the Army in 2005, January, and went to Iraq in 07, was in a roadside bomb 2008 of February. I received a Purple Heart for traumatic brain injury and a back injury.
David P. Callahan. I was in the United States Army from 1968 to 1976. I served in Vietnam, and my son Casey James Callahan, he's got the Purple Heart, and so we're the only living father and son in the state of Ohio. I say living in the state of Ohio with the Purple Heart.
I heard about this off the grid from my wife, who is a case manager with the Semper Fi Fund, and she came home and told me about this young man that wanted to start photography and off the grid stuff, and she was following him on Facebook, and she goes, evidently she told him at one time I wanted to go on a bear hunt, of which I did, and I started looking at his pages and looking at his pictures, and the opportunity arose, and I said, what a better time, to go bear hunt and spend some time with some other veterans and comrades that maybe I know and maybe I don't know. So it seemed like a great idea to go do so.
I heard about the hunt on Facebook. I saw a video of last year's hunt, and it was something I always wanted to experience. So I reached out to Ryan, and he immediately wrote me back and said, "You're in."
Hunting to me has always been way more than just the taking of an animal. The bonds built in the field can lead to relationships that last a lifetime. I want to introduce next one of this year's tag donors. This man's character, passion for the outdoors, and the causes we champion led me to offering him a position on the board for High Point Adventures after the hunt. So let's meet Jake.
My name is Jake Greeton. I'm a tag donor. I drew a bear tag this year. It was meant to be for me and my dad to go on the bear hunt together. He's been a lifelong houndsman. I grew up with bear dogs, coon, coyotes, ever since I was a little kid. Unfortunately, that dream never was able to happen. He tragically passed away unexpectedly due to a brain aneurysm. That kind of sent me into a spiral of trying to figure out what I was going to do with this bear tag. I didn't have the heart to really go do it by myself anymore, so I kept ordering preference points, trying to figure out what I was going to do with this tag. A friend of mine, Jess, had mentioned that she started dating this guy. He was big in the outdoors, and that I should maybe look him up and see what he was doing with veterans and things like that. So I started following him, saw the great things that he's doing, found out that he was a local guy, which was awesome. And we kind of connected and told him that I wanted to donate my bear tag to a veteran. And that's something I think my dad would have wanted me to do if I wasn't able to go with him. And we connected, and he gave me one stipulation, was that I was attending the bear camp. So I said, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. So I applied with the bear transfer tag. It was a really easy process. Ryan walked me through it. We sent it all in, and I just sat back and waited. Told my mom about it, my brother, everybody was just thrilled that I was able to pass this on from my dad.
So the camaraderie up here is great. You know, one of my favorite pastimes so far has been to banter back and forth with old Mr. Dave Callahan. He's kind of a trip. Yeah, he's like having an ex-wife. You know, follow me around. But he's a good guy, Vietnam veteran. Had a lot of stories, and a real friendly guy. You know, and you know, I've listened to his story, and he's listened to mine, and I think that's what a lot of people need to do. Just kind of listen to the other guy's story for a while before you get all wrapped up in your own.
It's about getting out, getting your feelings out, talking to people who's been through the same things you've been through, hanging out around a fire, sharing stories. I came up here with my father. He's a Purple Heart Vietnam guy. Just that, just getting out with him, you know, is probably the most important part.
Casey and I right now, because he was in the service, we can relate to each other. I mean, more, we can talk about things. He can relate to, he said, Dad, I understand what you went through now. He says, I said, well, it's probably easier for you because they still had the patriot in their heart. They was all red, white, and blue back then. I said, when I came home, it was all hate. And I said, they really didn't much care for us Vietnam veterans. But now a lot of these organizations are coming around, and I thank God for everything.
Quite an honor to find out that Jake had donated his bear tag, that he waited so long to build up those points, and having the unfortunate loss of his father, and then, you know, to go ahead and donate that tag to where, you know, a veteran, myself or anybody who would have been lucky enough to get this. And, you know, I really did appreciate that he did it. I've got to spend some time with him down by the fire and learn more about him, his dad, and I'm really happy that he was able to come up here and spend some time with me and let me know what it was like for him growing up, being a houndsman and hunting bear with his dad.
As for the bear hunting, it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. It's still hunting, and contrary to popular belief, bait sitting is not automatic. But we found ways to bond together. Dave taking my kids fishing, like the grandpa none of them have ever had, I'll forever be grateful for that. We broke bread, shared smiles, laughter, and told stories around the campfire. That's the way a hunting camp should be.
I think it's an honor what they do here for us veterans. I mean, it's a healing process. They don't know it, but it is. For me, it is. I get to meet some of the families and get the enjoyment of seeing them catch fish with me. I love fishing, and the opportunity is overwhelming. What they do here for veterans, they put the veterans first.
It's not just about the hunt for me, for the guys that show up. It's about getting to know each other as humans, interacting with each other, sharing the stories, letting them understand how and why we're so appreciative. The whole community gets behind us because it's not just us that appreciate everything, it's pretty much everyone around, everyone involved.
I'd say that 90+% of the veterans that we bring on these events tell me, I don't care if I shoot a bear, or I don't care if we get after some ducks. I don't care if I get a deer. They'd like to, but that's not what matters to them. What matters is getting together, being outside, enjoying Mother Nature and the fellowship, and spending time with their brothers. And people ask me, why don't you tell more of the war story of the veteran? Those stories are told, but they're told in comfort of the campfire. And what is said around those campfires is protected by the sanctity of that fire. These guys open up with each other. They tell each other their stories, and we laugh, we cry, we hug, and we leave there full. Everybody does. The volunteers, the guides, the veterans, the entire camp leaves together bonded.
And it's much more than just hunting and trying to harvest an animal. The stories I got to hear from the two vets that were out there, that were disabled guys, much older than me, kind of reminded me of my dad. So it was a great atmosphere. I kind of built the camaraderie and kind of set the pace for the whole week or weekend. And we sat around the fire and till 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and there's stories that you hear there. You just sit back and listen. It's nothing like you could ever feel comfortable going and asking one of these guys what they've been through. You just sit back and listen, and they start to talk about it. They become more comfortable. They start to, in a sense, heal with all the group of guys that are around them. And that's what this is all about, is healing. It's healing for myself, for my family. And I couldn't have asked for a better place to go during this bear hunt. Even though I wasn't out there harvesting the animal, it meant just as much to me as it did to those guys.
I don't know how else to explain. You don't talk about these things that eat you up on the inside with guys that haven't been through it. And when you come up to a place where other guys have done it, you let yourself go. You relax. I think this is a great camp. I don't think I've ever been to a place that I felt more myself than I have in the last 15 years. I love what these guys are doing, and I hope they continue to do it for many, many years, many, many guys.
Thank you, Ryan, and High Point Adventures for putting this on and giving this opportunity to all these veterans out there that need an outlet and need a way to express themselves and just build camaraderie where they don't feel judged about things they may have done or what they've been going through. And at the end of the day, it's saving lives. And Ryan, I can't thank you enough, man, for putting it on.
All right, we gotta get down the road. All right.
You do. I got it, President.
Real nice to meet you, brother. It was real nice to meet you. Nice day, too.
Take care.
All right, you too, man.
All right, you drive careful.
Hey, you take
Make sure you get them
safe trip home,
applications
man.
for them to
Oh, I definitely will. Definitely.
Give him my hug. Come on.